Recording in
that I am
progress.
not getting sufficient number of questions, then I may try to talk a little more about some of these things later. So that's the scheme of my discussion for the next whatever time I will be able to take care of it. So please go to the next slide, please. Okay. Now let's look at blockchain technology. What it is, I'll come to that later. But for past several years, we have been using what is called a centralized system, which means if a bank is there, I'm taking the example of bank because all of us are familiar with the bank. If a bank is there, it will have a large computer system in what they call it as a data center, and all the data is stored in that, and all the processing takes place there. And because of very good communication network that is available today, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it is centralized because and all the speed is not an issue, the storage is not an issue. So any one of us, whoever wants to use a bank, with all that we need to do is sit with the desktop, sit with the laptop, and more so today, sit with your mobile and do complete your transaction. Whether you are going to pay to your friend, whether you want to buy something, whether you want to start a fixed deposit, whatever it is. Now, all these things are possible to be done on the computer system because of centralized systems. Let me halt and tell one important thing at this point. We went through, or we are still going through, a pandemic phase in the entire world for the last 2 years, almost. I think November, December is the time when we started hearing about this COVID in China. At that time, some of us must have thought, will it come to us? Why should we worry? But it came, and not came to us, it came to the entire world, and all of us are going through it. But one thing you tell me, for the last 2 years, was there any single day when you are not able to do banking? When you are not able to do your payment? All this is because you have got a very good centralized system which was working continuously throughout 24/7 through the 2 years. And none of us faced any difficulty with respect to payments, with respect to banking, which are the backbone of economy. Let me repeat, banking and payments are the backbone of the economy, and they continue to work because all the systems have been computerized and they're all centrally managed. Why I'm harping on this point, centrally managed? If some of you knew, I do not know how many of you, I mean, at least some of you would know, 25 to 30 years back, if you have an account, you have an account with a branch, although it is called a bank. You cannot walk into another branch and complete the transaction that you want to do. It was not possible. So branch was the one where the account, where your banking was done. But with the centralized systems, storage being centralized and all data available there, whichever branch or not even branch, whichever mobile, you are able to access your data and you are able to complete your transaction. All happened because of your great thing called a centralized systems technology. What is CBS they call? Core banking and centralized banking systems. The same was the case with railway reservation, same is the case with airports, and same is the case with anything that you are doing. If any of your younger people are there who would have got into these systems 15 years back, I think none of you would even know that such a thing was a difficulty at some point of time. You may not even know that. Is anybody talking? If anybody is talking, please reduce your
Organizers may please make all the other computers mute, please, except the speakers.
See, please adhere to some norms when you are having a digital medium. If anybody is talking or making noise, the system cannot work further. Please adhere to that. Okay. So we are able to do all these things because of centralized systems, which are very good for all of us. And that is what has helped many of us, including banking or, I mean, I told you 100 things are there which were possible to do. But there seems to be one difficulty with centralized systems. And that is, if a centralized system is compromised by a hacker, the entire data is going to get compromised. And if the system is not available, the whole system is not available for the entire thing. Or you get it a point. If you keep the entire data and resources in one place, and if that system or data gets compromised, then for the hacker, it is very easy for him to manipulate with the data. One. Second thing, for any reason, if that computer system is not available, then the whole system is not available to us. This is the difficulty which people have started seeing. And not only that, they also started seeing if there are documents to be shared using this digital world. Now, how do we ensure that they are the genuine documents actually written by the owner, and the document is exactly what it is expected to be and owned by that particular person? You see, these are the two difficulties that have been seen when you are having a large scale central systems where a single server was providing. One is the hacker proof, that is one thing to be taken care. Second thing is availability, and third, as the documents keep floating around, how do you ensure that they are all genuine, and not only that, they are owned by some X or Y or Z? Now, why do we need this kind of thing? Let me go to the point number 3 I have on my slide, which will explain to us what is that we are talking when we are talking of blockchain or distributed ledger technology. Take the case of a land record. If a particular land is owned by X, now how do we say that it is owned by X? There is some registrar office, or there is some whatever land record office in each district, or maybe even in a level lower than that. They maintain a lot of records. You go there, get it verified, and then it says, I own it. And when I am selling it, again, everything is recorded there. This recording was taking place on papers, and maybe it's still taking place on papers. You still have to sign papers if you have to sell or buy, and that is the way the land records are being managed today. Now, what are the disadvantages? The biggest disadvantage is that the entire records are available in a village in some place, and that means any transaction to take place, the seller and the buyer have to go there, sit. Even after doing it, how comfortable are you seeing that this record is actually owned by him? You start saying, you give me 3 old records, whatever it is. Even then, it is not a very foolproof method. Now, the ownership is a simple piece of paper. If you translate, that piece of paper can be converted into a digital record, which is what is happening today. Instead of actually a piece of paper, it is converted into digital record. Although we do the transaction using paper, ultimately it is stored as a digital record. Now the digital record again is available in the place where the registrar office is there. And still all the problems which I was telling, the hacker proof, ensuring that these are all these things relating to technology still persist with the land records. Now this if it is changed in a place like this, that record is not stored only in a village, but it is stored in 10 places. Suppose just for your evaluation, I'm telling, record is not stored in one place, but it is stored in 10 places. And if a transaction takes place, I will explain to you what transaction means. If a transaction takes place, it is recorded in all the 10 places. Okay, what is a transaction? If I own a piece of land and I want to sell to somebody, one is the money transaction, which is very well taken care today because of digital payments and banks. Other is ownership of this piece of land. Now, how do I do it? If at all it is written that I am not the owner anymore, but somebody else is the owner. So suppose I sell it to some place, some fellow like Krishna, and if he is recorded that he is the owner, from there onwards, the ownership of that land has been passed from me to him. What is the information required? Information required, what is the land details, like where it is located, how much and all that. Today I am the owner, remove that or keep that, but keep Krishna as the buyer. So there is a seller, there is a buyer. That means there is one person who says the ownership I am passing on from me to other person. It is passed on, but it is recorded in 10 places. Now Krishna is the owner. He wants to sell it. And now he also says that I will be selling it to somebody like maybe some Shiva. The problem is, how does Shiva know that Krishna is the owner? Earlier, he used to go to that particular office, take the records and see it. Now, this information is stored in 10 places. And when Krishna says, I am selling to Shiva, and if all the 10 places say, yes, Krishna is the owner, he is a rightful fellow, he can sell it to Shiva, and the transaction completes and it is recorded in all 10 places, then the owner is Shiva. Now, why should we do it in 10 places when it was so easy to do it in one place? As I was telling, it now tamper proof. It won't be completely safe. No system can be completely safe. It will have some difficulties, but this is, we call it as tamper can be evidence. We can know that tampering has taken place. In the 10 systems that are available in 10 different places managed by 10 different people, if on one of the systems they change from Krishna to somebody else or for whatever reasons, but it is not changed in remaining 9 places, when the next transaction has to take place, this data is not in sync. That means this transaction cannot be taking place. That is what is the concept of distributed ledger. Please understand, distributed ledger means it is still a ledger, it is still an accounting system as it used to be. Only thing is the ledger is not maintained in one place, but distributed ledger is maintained in multiple places. In how many places and what is the need? All these things will come in implementation. That will be technology solution. But as far as the implementation is concerned, the ledger is stored in multiple places to ensure that it is tamper. It is not, I can't say tamper proof, but evidence of tampering is immediately known. That if somebody has tampered in one of the locations, it cannot be tampered in the remaining. Therefore, you can be sure that this transaction has been tampered, and he cannot sell until there is a consensus reached among these 10 people and all of them agree. When I say people, don't misunderstand, 10 people will sit and work. There are algorithms, or by algorithm we mean systems, where consensus is arrived at by them. And when they say, yes, this fellow is the owner, he has the right to sell, then the transaction takes place. The next person is recorded as the owner. Now see, there is a chain. Original owner Rama, he sold it to Krishna, he sells it to Shiva, and the entire chain is maintained. And this kind of maintaining the chain of the facts or the information is what is called as blockchain. It is all in simple terms. Please don't think that it's so easy to discuss this blockchain, because technologically there are much more difficult things. But for us to understand, when we are looking from the point of view of accounting, banking, economics, for us it is more than adequate for us to know that blockchain is a series of facts recorded or series of transactions recorded on a block. And so that at any point of time, it can be cross-verified with the past and it can be cross-verified at multiple locations. If this is done, then the security of the transaction is much better. So that's how the distributed ledger technology has been thought of. That is how the distributed ledger technology has been conceived. But how does distributed ledger come into picture? That requires blockchain technology. So blockchain technology precedes what we today call in distributed ledger or whatever name we want to call it. So blockchain technology per se started sometime in 1980s, early 1980s. I don't want to go into details who are the people, what they did to finally reach this particular place. So for about 20 years, there has been adequate research going on in academic institutions to feel that you can come with a technology that will show if there is a tampering and ensure that the transaction is always in consistency. That means it cannot be tampered by one place in one way and then it is going to be broken. But if you have to maintain data like this, it has to be crypted. This is where the second word comes. Maintaining data in 10 places is okay, but tampering proof is possible only when it is crypted. That's where the entire cryptography comes into picture. And for the whole cryptography, from way back from if you talk of cryptography, Julius Caesar was supposed to be the days where a lot of cryptography was evolved, because they always wanted to keep secrets from one military to another. But they're all non-digital cryptographies. If you seriously look at cryptography, 50s, 60s, 70s, and computers have become big. That's a time when a lot of cryptography effects have taken place. And it's a mathematical wonder. I can only use the word that, nothing else, because I can't explain the whole thing. It's a mathematical wonder that they found out what is called as public key infrastructure. But for public key infrastructure, I don't think legally we could have proceeded further in the entire computers and communications. And what is that public key infrastructure? I can't take that as part of this lesson, because that it's a topic by itself for which we need a considerable time, but you don't worry about that. Public key infrastructure is the one which maintains cryptic text or cryptic, whatever is stored in cryptic form, very, very secure. It is very, very difficult to break a public key infrastructure if the cryptography is done using some standards, and those standards keep coming. So now if you look at the blockchain, basically you need a distributed ledger technology backed up by blockchain technology, and block is nothing but a series of events that are covered, a chain of information that is collected, and at any point of time you can go back and see what is the right thing to happen, what is the right thing that should have happened in that, and if any inconsistency, the data cannot be used unless the inconsistency is taken care of. I suppose you got hang of it. The example I am giving land record because that is easy for all of us to understand. A series of transaction of land, selling, buying, is recorded serially. So at any point of time, you know who is the owner, whether he is the rightful owner or not, and this is tamper-proof. And the next transaction takes place only when 8 to 10 places or 100 places, depending on what is required. All of them agree, yes, this is a rightful transaction. It will go beyond that. And sometimes, why I'm saying one of them may not agree is, sometimes a transaction has to take place if one of the nodes, or what we call as one of the places where it is stored, is not available because of computing power or for communication. Then the remaining 80 or 85, that algorithm takes into account the majority or the system managers, all those things, and transactions keep going through. This is something very important. Transaction has to go through even if 1, 2, 3 systems are not available. But today, if you go to a land record office and on that particular day the office is closed, or if the right people are not there, you cannot do any transaction. That problem will not be there if land records get computerized. Not actually computerized, they are actually blockchained, using blockchain technology if they are done. Some states have taken initiative. I can say certainly the state in which we are, both you, Warangal, and Hyderabad, we are in the same state. Telangana is one state which has taken an initiative in implementing blockchain technology-based land records. But let me also add that the land records themselves are very messy. It's very, very, very difficult to bring into technology. Technology is good, but record maintenance is altogether a different thing. It is to be needed by many people. So if it is done over a period of time, completely clearing it and bringing, probably there's a time when we can be sure that this technology will help us to maintain land records in a state or across states or maybe across the world also. Maybe a time comes, and if the sci-fi is right, maybe across the world, because maybe people start buying land on Mars, people may be buying land on Moon, which is already happening, but that is a different thing. I'll come back to it and I talk about the greed associated with cryptocurrencies. So that's roughly the scope of the blockchain understanding. It is a distributed ledger technology, also called as blockchain technology. They are totally different, but for our understanding, let us keep it as same. And land record is actually maintaining record, a series of transactions in a record stored in a block, and that is where the whole thing comes. A lot of initiatives have been done by government, by RBI, by banks, academia. As I said, a lot of research has taken place. That is why we are here, IT industry. But one player which I think none of you can afford to miss today is fintechs. Fintechs are small startups or reasonably big startups, and they are able to catch new ideas, innovate them, and bring it to the fore. So this is where I think the next revolution of technology is going to be. Not necessarily a Microsoft or an Amazon or all those people who will be able to provide big solutions, but maybe small players with their innovative ideas and very enthusiasm may be able to bring out solutions, small solutions, but may have a lot of impact. And fintechs today, for your only information I'm telling, because you all are coming to commerce, economics, those kind of departments, fintechs are going to play an important role. And today, fintechs talked about 3 important areas. The first one is artificial intelligence. I think that is where the world is changing totally. It's a topic by itself. I think at some point, Kakatiya University can think in terms of organizing a little more on artificial intelligence and invite a suitable speaker to talk about it, and you will gain a lot more about AI. Second thing is cyber security. Actually, blockchain technology is something to bring more cyber security. So it itself is a big solution. It's going to change a lot the way we are looking at security today. File war, centralized, and all that may not be required, but different kind of security solutions may be required. So fintechs are working on second cyber security. Third important area, where we do not know whether they will succeed or not, is blockchain technology. You ask every third fintech company, they will say we are working on blockchain technology. We don't know what is their end result. And so I end this slide again saying whether it is hyper reality, we will know over a period of time. As of today, we cannot ignore. We cannot ignore because it has come to a stage where it is pervading everywhere. So we just can't ignore it. But how much it will influence the nation, the world, the economy, the accounting, the medicine, the banking, the payments, that is all very difficult to assess at this point of time. However, one use case has completely brought blockchain to all of us close, and that is cryptocurrencies. Had cryptocurrencies not come into the world, I don't think many of the people would have known what blockchain was, because blockchain technology, as I said, was there from 1980s. But cryptos, basically Bitcoin, which came in 2008, exploited the feature of blockchain or exploited the feature of distributed ledger, and that brought blockchain technology as a name, I won't say as a technology, as a name closer to the world. So let's have a small discussion on cryptocurrencies. Please, next slide, please. Yeah. So now let's go to cryptocurrencies, which is the main thing which most of us would love to know what it is all about. Now, before we go to cryptocurrencies, let us see what is actually a currency, because you're all from commerce, economics. I think you should not have any difficulty. What is the function of a currency? I mean, usual stuff you would have learned in your basics. It's a medium of exchange, store of value, and also unit of account, all those kind of stuff. But what is the importance of currency? Acceptability. Why is it getting accepted? Because central bank is backing it. In India, Reserve Bank is the only organization that can print currency. So central bank is backing, so there is no problem of acceptability at all for the currency, which is called fiat currency, whatever name you want to give. The 100 rupee note or whatever note that you take it, nobody can say I won't take it except for counterfeiting. I mean, that's a different issue, but otherwise it is accepted. The acceptability of a currency is coming because of its central bank's backing and guarantee. So acceptability is one very, very important feature that a currency should have. If acceptability is there, currency can become very popular. But as far as the cryptocurrency is concerned, you see what are its functions or what are its features. As far as the function, as a unit of account, we don't know. As a store of value, we still do not know. But as a medium of exchange, probably it is doing its work. What do we mean by medium of exchange is that if somebody in India wants to make a payment to somebody maybe in Bolivia, instead of going through a dollar, euro, all those things, if both of them agree, yes, I will take 50 bitcoins from you, and then the transaction can be completed. So that's a medium of exchange. That is, I'll make some payment using this, and you agree for it. So that is where it is. As a unit of account, still you cannot say it is a unit of account, because nobody can say that what is its actual value today. What is its value? I'll come to it later. But what is actually, none of us know. So it is not serving that purpose, but it is serving the purpose of medium of exchange. A unit of account is okay. I mean, all those things. So crypto has come into the world at a time when people thought cross-border currency, cross-border transfers have a lot of limitations of the central bank's restriction between two countries. Instead of that, if I'm able to pay easily using a currency which is acceptable by both. If you talk that word, currency is a misnomer there. All that we are saying is there is some instrument which two parties are accepting to use for transactions. And if that particular instrument is accepted as currency, it is currency. For reasons unknown, we are all calling it cryptocurrencies. Crypto, understandable, because it uses cryptography, it uses a computerized digital token and all that thing. Currency, whether it is the right word or not, is a debatable thing. But when everybody starts using the same word, it becomes by default the word for it. So today we call all these things, Bitcoin and many others, as currencies, as though somebody has issued it. Strictly speaking, Bitcoin, which came into existence in 2008 by an unknown person, doesn't know, but he calls himself by some name. And it became popular for some time. The people, maybe for the glamour of it, or maybe, as I said, some cross-border things can take place, it became little popular. When this Bitcoin has become little popular, then the value is a question. How much to pay to get a Bitcoin? So this is where I want to tell something about Bitcoin for your own understanding. This concept of cryptocurrencies being available is to find a block. Actually, if I can find a block, and from there onwards, I can start using whatever is available in the block, then I become the owner of that particular currency. If you are getting my point, let me repeat it. Somebody somewhere made some big system where he says these are all blocks of information, and this information can be thought of a currency. And if any one of you are able to get a block, you become the owner of the block, and there onwards you can give that whatever information, which is nothing but currency, to others. So what is the first person who has to get a block supposed to do? I mean, forget the first 2-3 blocks which the initial people have to. The next person, he has to find out a block. And as I told you earlier, finding out a block is to find out the crypto of it. That is using the public keys and infrastructure. As I was telling, the public key is a mathematical wonder. Why I say, the person who has encrypted it, he knows his key by which he has encrypted. If anybody else has to see that, he needs a key. I mean, he has to find a key which is going to decrypt it. And finding a key which is the parallel key or the other key of the one key is a very, very time-consuming, computing-consuming, effort-consuming effort. Because it is all this, it's time-consuming, computer-consuming, time and effort-consuming, it is not easy to break a public key infrastructure. But it is possible to find by very techniques by which you will be able to do it by spending a lot of money to get that block. But if you have to spend some money to prepare a computer system and get a block, you must have some incentive. Now, what is incentive here? If you are able to get a block, you can start selling the currency to others. It is like mining. If there is a gold mine, and if I know that there is a gold there, and if I put all my efforts of putting machinery, people and all that, mine some gold, I can sell the gold and make money. Similarly, cryptocurrency is stored. It's like a mine. And mining is a process of finding a block. And if I can find a block, then I own the block, and there onwards I can distribute freely or for a cost or whatever it is going to happen. So this is how the whole cryptocurrency works. Cryptocurrency is data or information stored in digital form, totally encrypted, and very difficult to get where it is and how to get it. And if somebody is able to get the block, then he becomes the owner of the block, and there onwards he'll be able to sell it. And if I sell to somebody, as the usual blockchain technology, that buyer in turn can sell to seller. And I mean, that seller, he can also sell to another person. So the chain will continue. So whatever has been started as Bitcoin around 2008, for it to become normal, usable, and become valuable, it has taken about 7 to 8 years. But what happened during this period, because it is being sold like gold, the value started increasing. Because it is availability is less. So who will buy? X will buy provided he thinks he can sell for a higher price. That's the usual economic principle in the world. I buy something if I need it for consumption, or I buy something if I think I can sell it for a higher price. And gold is sold like that, or many assets are sold like that, and cryptocurrencies are also sold like that. So if you want a cryptocurrency, you need to buy from somebody. Either you mine, which is very difficult, or you buy from somebody. Whenever there are more buyers and sellers, what happens? You need exchanges. Anywhere in stock market, there are buyers and sellers. You cannot find the actual seller and buyer on your own. So you need exchanges. So crypto exchanges have come. Now you see the whole infrastructure that got developed. Initially, somebody created Bitcoin as an available asset, but you have to get it only through some difficult process of mining. And when people got it, they sell it to many others. And the sellers, I mean the buyers, they would like to sell it, and therefore exchanges have come. So if you look at the whole process, you have a Bitcoin, you have one who initiated, you have a miner, You have the possessors, owners, you have buyers and sellers. This is the market. This is the market of a cryptocurrency. Whatever I have indicated to Bitcoin is true for any other type of cryptocurrency. Though Bitcoin came first, there are many others who have different variations of the technology and different set. As some names you can see here: Ethereum, Binance, so many there like that. Now, if you see, all these are cryptocurrencies. So cryptocurrency is not one like only Bitcoin. Now multiple cryptocurrencies are there in the world, and people are buying and selling using several exchanges. Many exchanges are there. In India itself, you have got an exchange called WazirX, which is a very popular. Any young boy or girl, I mean, I don't say any, but many young boys and girls will be able to talk about it very easily, that I bought this in this, I bought in that, like that. So that is how it keeps going. So there are exchanges, there are multiple currencies. The one point that Bitcoin has done, I will tell you technology because that's more difficult to explain. I don't want to get into it, but there is a limited supply of Bitcoin. What it means and all, it's more difficult to explain, but the Bitcoin has a limit of 21 million Bitcoins. That means beyond 21 million Bitcoins, this system will not work. I mean, there are no more Bitcoins that are going to come. It is like this: if there is a Kolar gold mine, and the gold mine has certain, I don't know the measure of it, but some volumes of gold, and once that is exploited, that is no more available. So you cannot get gold from there. Of course, you may get gold from another place, and that is what is another cryptocurrency. If Bitcoin get closed, you may start using Binance, or you may start using Ethereum, or you may start using something else. So this is one of the reasons why more cryptocurrencies are coming. The cryptocurrency, by its very nature of technology architecture, is limited supply. You cannot go beyond that. So naturally, some more things have to come. As far as the Bitcoin is concerned, 21 million, it's not a small number, that is the limit. And what is a unit? Bitcoin is a unit by itself, like $1, 1 Bitcoin. What will happen? This Bitcoin is divisible up to 1/8 times, which is decimals actually, a million, So it is actually very, very small unit. It's 0.0088 decimals and 1. Up to that unit, it can be divisible. That means if you want to buy a Bitcoin, one Bitcoin costs about, say, $60,000. You cannot buy, and you can buy 1/10 of a Bitcoin, or 1/100th of a Bitcoin, or 1,000th of Bitcoin. So that's all possible. Now there are Bitcoins or other cryptocurrencies. There are exchanges. You can buy them, you can sell them. And that is where our youth, our millennial of the age 25 to 35 years age are into it. Now, why they are into it, why others are not into it, it's very difficult to say. I can say both. They're both knowledgeable and also ignorant. Knowledgeable that they know that this is a mine which they can use and get more money. Ignorant because such things may not last long. If you just track Bitcoin, I don't know how many of you tracked it. In 2017 or so, its value has become $20,000. Not a small amount, a big amount, and many would have made money. But between 2017 to 2021, it became $60,000. Imagine, if somebody has bought Bitcoin in 2017, by 20, you would have made thrice that amount in terms of dollars, in terms of any word. But in 2021, there was also a time when it touched as low as 30,000. Imagine somebody bought at 60,000, then within 2 months, his value would have come down to 30,000 also. This is what I am trying to say. It can be ignorance or it may be knowledge. Knowledge that they can make money, ignorance that they may be losing a lot. If some of you have read markets for a very, very long time, there was something called as tulip mania. Tulip mania 400-500 years back in Europe. People thought tulip is such a valuable thing, started buying, selling and all that. For 3-4 years, some people made money, then everybody lost money also. More so 2007-8 recent financial crisis, it's also because of something like that, bubble of real estate, whatever it is. So these people who are actually getting into it may face some problems. So 2 people have warned recently over last 2-3 days. The Prime Minister Modi warned in one way. He says If this money goes into the hands of terrorists, if this money goes into the hands of drug peddlers, what is going to happen to the nation? So his concern is the national security and national thing. And the Governor of the Reserve Bank of India has warned, saying that people without realizing start getting into this, they may lose money. Their losing money is not only their problem, it is a problem for the nation as a whole because it leads to systemic risk. So cryptocurrencies are good for payments. If you see 4 or 5 purposes I have said, payment, it may be good. Asset may be, as long as everybody is within limits. Speculation is dangerous. Illegal transaction is much more dangerous. So cryptocurrency is at that stage. Now, what do nations do if in such cases? There are 3 options. You can ban cryptocurrency and you penalize anybody who's using cryptocurrency. The only country that can do successfully, has done successfully, China. Because China can do it. And if they ban, they ban. And if anybody deviates, they can go to any extent and then see that the punishments are different actually. The second option is you recognize that there is something called cryptocurrency. Just keep monitoring it, that it is not going into wrong hands, that it is not, people are not losing out. That is second. That means you recognize such a thing exists and you monitor. The third is watch and wait. I mean, I don't know anything about it. Let things boil down to a fire where I have to take care. Nations take different views on this. Ban and penalize, China has done. Recognize and monitor, we have done in some way. I will tell you what that recognize means. Watch and wait, we are not there. Maybe some countries are there. Most of the countries are now coming out of it. So what do you mean by recognize and monitor? We know cryptocurrency is existing. We know people are using it. But what can be banned? RBI tried to ban it in a different way. They said banks should not get into this. So banks should not finance, banks should not do anything to do with crypto as an asset. So that is what they tried to do. But Supreme Court has said that is also not fair. So today in India, crypto is not illegal. That doesn't mean the purpose is legal. Suppose somebody is funding it for a terrorist activity, it's not legal. So somebody is paying some drugs, paying thing, it's not legal. But as a transaction, it's not illegal. Now, what did Reserve Bank do? Reserve Bank said it's not a currency. Definitely not a currency because we are not issued. So it cannot be a currency. Then what it is? We accept that it is an asset. If you want to buy something, you buy. Whatever you buy a land, you buy. We are not in picture. You buy gold, we are not in picture. You buy a stock, we are not in picture. So similarly, you can buy an asset called as crypto, keep it with you. And if you feel it's a good time to sell, you sell it, you make money. We cannot do anything as of now. We may watch, we may monitor, and we may come with more stringent things later. So today, if anybody asks us, is crypto illegal in India? We can only say it is not illegal. Whether it is legal or not, we cannot say it's not illegal to keep some crypto. But the purpose for which it is used is always monitored by different agencies. Now, coming to speculation part of it. Now, how to speculation, all these things. Because if the asset is going up, you buy. Now, I want, because you're all like commerce, accounting, and economics background people, I want to make a mention here. Every asset, if it is an asset, has some form which we can see. Gold, I can see it. Even government securities, I can see not as piece of paper, but backed up by government and some activity going on. The government makes money and return to me. Stocks, there is no difficulty at all. There exists a company, and on that company, I am buying an asset, which is a stock. That's also no problem. Here is one asset which doesn't have any backing by anybody in this world. If crypto is an asset, if some of you want to hold crypto as an asset, the point to remember, the point that all of you should remember is there is no backing to it at all. It is not like a company. If a company sells stocks, I buy it, I speculate, I sell it, and if it gets closed, at least 30%, 20%, 40%, whatever percent it exists, I can do it, I can look at it. I can look at its fundamentals, financials, and then buy it. Here, there is no fundamentals, there is no financials, there is nothing except trust in it by many, many people in the currency. If it is only trust and not backed by central bank, not backed by government, not backed by any company, you should see how long the trust will survive. It's a caution I'm giving to all who are listening to this, and this is a caution I think you can give it to people whom you want to give. provided they are willing to listen. Because when I said 25 to 30 years, these are the millennial people who are adventurous, who have sufficient money, which they can play around. And very, very difficult for us, people like us, who have seen so many bubbles, so many blasts, to tell them that it could be risky. And if we tell it is risky, and by chance he makes a lot of money, he only makes one of two. He's not going to listen, or this person is wise. They won't think of like that. But as academicians, as bankers, as practitioners, it is our role to say that cryptocurrencies as an asset, as a speculation, has lot more than what mutual funds have got, what stocks have got, what anything else has got. So this is where I think I should caution the cryptocurrency part to you, and through you to whoever are going to likely lose us in the whole case. Since many of you are economy, I just want to mention that impact of monetary policy on reserve money, on total money multiplier, that is reserve money converted into money. I think all of you know this concept. RM, then M3, M4 multiplier, and then velocity of money. As on today, since this is not a fiat currency, not issued by Reserve Bank, it doesn't affect reserve money. It doesn't affect money multiplier. It may have some impact on velocity of money, but very little impact as on today. And until the velocity of money is going to be shifted by a reasonably long period, none of us need to be worried about the monetary policy impact of cryptocurrency as on today. It may have impact little later, but not today. Okay. That's roughly about cryptocurrencies. They are basically blockchain technology, early adopters of blockchain technology, may be useful for settling some transactions, but it leads to certain risks. There are multiple cryptocurrencies now, not only Bitcoin, and there are several exchanges where you will be able to buy and sell. If at all you're interested, you can go and see WazirX, let's say, classic exchange in India. What countries do? They either ban or recognize and monitor. India is now recognizing and monitor. We will take a stern action when it is required. And as of now, central bank is not really concerned because it doesn't have any impact on monetary policy. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Please. Yeah. Now, another word which you might have been using very frequently now is non-fungible token. You know what is fungible and non-fungible? No, it's a non-fungible means it has uniqueness. It's on its own. You cannot change it for something else. That is non-fungibility. Fungibility means either this or that. In any way, it is okay. That kind of thing. So non-fungible digital tokens are issued like any information. Today, a digital asset is information. Suppose you write a story and the story is in a digital form. It is an asset to you. It is in digital form. So it can be converted into a token. Art can be converted into a token. By token, what we mean? We crypt it, we add a hash to it, then it becomes a token. And the owner of the token, he alone is the owner, nobody else can own it. Which means you are trying to reduce duplicates in the digital world. Non-fungible tokens are to reduce duplicates or retain the originals as originals in the digital world. Because now many things are turning digital. If you have to maintain the original as original, the ownership as ownership, you need to have some kind of hashing and some kind of crypting. And that's what these non-fungible tokens do. Non-fungible tokens also use blockchain technology. That's why I wanted to put it here. It also uses blockchain technology in many cases. And already people have started using, and some paintings are sold for a very high value, digital paintings. Maybe because the painting has a value, or maybe because they want to popularize the concept of non-fungible token. But this is in its initial stages, maybe 1 year old or 1.5 years old. Whether it will pick up, whether all digital assets over a period of time become non-fungible tokens. Music is one example. So already you might be knowing that the music director and the singer are in clash with each other. Who is the owner of the song? The music director says, I have composed, so I am naturally the owner. But everybody is singing the song. Now, how do you control over these kind of things in digital world? I'm not telling physically it's not possible because you cannot go around the world and see who is singing which song. But in digital, if it is a digital asset, is it possible to crypt it? Is it possible to hash it and say that this is legitimately original and this is owned by X? And when he sells it, it will be owned by Y. Same like land record. Once I make it as a non-fungible digital token, when a sale takes place, the ownership changes and everything recorded on the block. So that's how the blockchains become very, very useful in the case of non-fungible tokens. Okay. So trace movement, digital assets, all those things. But a new idea called metaverses is coming. It may not take really. It's again more of a hype. If you see Amitabh Bachchan, if you see Rajnikant, all of them say we have our own universe, or even many of them, we have our own universe, a parallel universe in digital world. You can buy my souvenirs and see my movies, all these things there. You can pay also using your digital currency there. So a parallel universe may exist. I don't know whether any of you have seen about 3-4 years back, there used to be a game called Second World. There used to be a game called Second World where we could buy land and all that. So something similar might happen in metaverse. So I am not saying it's going to happen, but this is something which you can register in your mind. If such thing starts happening, so your accounting, your economy, all those things will undergo total change. Because you are selling something not in the physical world as a good or service, but in a metaverse, which is a digital world, as something, a replica or reality, whatever it is. So it's going to be a second world or whatever it is that is likely to emerge. If it emerges, it is possible because a lot of AR, VR is happening. Because another topic is that augmented reality, virtual reality, technology is able to give you feel it is real. I mean, as real as it is real. So if you go to Rashtrapati Bhavan, there is a corridor where you can actually see Gandhi coming towards you. Real Gandhi, I mean, you feel it's Gandhi coming towards you. It's a virtual world. So many things like that are happening. So this also can happen. Be prepared. That's what I just wanted to show. So next slide, which is the last of mine. Please go to the next slide. This is central bank digital currencies. So when I said currency, cryptocurrency, it is not issued by central bank. It is issued by whom we do not know. People are using it. So it is not acceptable as issued by central bank. So it doesn't have. Whereas if central bank itself digitizes its currency, see the difference. It is not crypto. It is central bank trying to issue its currency not in the paper form, but in the digital form. Please understand this. That is what it is. It is not a cryptocurrency. See, today, central bank is printing notes and giving. Instead of printing notes, if they start giving currency in digital form, put into your digital wallets, and then you can start using it as a currency issued by the central bank of the country. But then it becomes a central bank issued digital currency. That's why from the beginning I said crypto, the currency, I don't want to use the word with it. It's a crypto token or whatever it is. The currency is a misnomer there. But somehow we all got used to it, so I didn't want to change in my presentation because it's difficult to explain every time I'm referring to cryptocurrency. This is actual currency. This is a digital currency issued by central bank. By many central banks have started thinking about it. I'll come to what it is. So it is a digital currency issued by central bank to its own banks, to its own people, and it has the stamp of the central bank, which means it is recognized. It can be used and it can be accepted across all the customers and all the people who have. Same principles will work. Ownership passes when I give my token to the next person. So the principles of the block, all those things will work. Now, how to implement, that's a big thing which we are looking at. I am also a member of that central bank digital currency external group. So we are looking at what are the alternatives, but we have come closer to trying a pilot run. You must have seen governor saying next 2-3 months we may have a pilot run. We have Vasudevan, who is the chief CGM of payment systems, telling that we have come closer to its implementation. So over next 2 to 3-4 months, there is a possibility of pilot run by India of central bank digital currency. What will happen? One major thing that is likely to happen is the currency may continue for some more years. It is not that It's a one big bang thing, like tomorrow onwards, there is no paper currency, only digital currency. That cannot happen in a country of our dimension or any smaller country also. It will not happen. China is trying. I mean, it's also bringing out its own CBDC. Similarly, many other countries are doing, Sweden, European Union. If you read papers, you will get that these are the countries they are working on central bank digital currency. India is also working. But why should we worry about digital currency? One reason, cost of printing, cost of circulation, making it available across the country if it is in paper form has lot of cost and lot of effort and lot of logistic issues. If you want to overcome that, if you digitize, why do we digitize anything? We digitize music, we digitize books, we digitize our accounts. Why are we digitizing? Because it is easier to maintain in digital form rather than in paper form. So even currency which we are using today, like any 100 rupee or whatever note, if it is digitized, it is easy to maintain. And no, what you call it as, it will not get soiled. It cannot be, something cannot be overwritten. All these things are not possible. And possibly, the number of nodes, if you call them nodes, or the value or the volume of currency that is to be in circulation may come down if it is becoming completely digital. Point number one, the volume of currency that is required may come down if it is going to become digital, because paper you always have to keep more than what is required. Even at home we keep some notes because if I need it, what happened? Even banks have to keep more. If customer comes, I have to give. Your Reserve Bank has to print more because if it is required, we have to have more. So there is a possibility. I'm not saying 100%. There is a possibility that the currency, the quantum of currency may come down, which means the reserve money, which the Reserve Bank issues as fiat currency over a long period, may be different than what we are seeing today. If reserve money changes and then money multiplier, because the banks also can rotate it faster, if also might change and velocity of money may change, there may be some impact on the monetary policy of the central bank if central bank starts issuing CBDC, not immediate, but over a period of time. And this is something which the central bank is already seized of and thinking about. Immediately, nothing to worry because the volumes are not going to be so high. Point number one is to central bank. Point number two, what will happen to banks? Banks are there as intermediaries. Now, suppose that intermediation level is going to come down lower and lower. If I have to pay money, I keep it in bank, have a deposit, give a check, give a transfer. But if in my wallet, whatever I want is there, I'm transferring to another person. Then the intermediation which the banks are doing in terms of deposits may come down, which may have an impact on even loans. I mean, the banks have to play the role of intermediaries. The banks are getting deposits, banks have to pay loans, but if digital currency is going to become so large that the role of banks as financial intermediaries may, again, I'm not saying will, may be impacted to some extent, then banks also have to start relooking at themselves. The third is payment systems. Why are payment systems like PayPal, Paytm, all are surviving? Because today most of the transactions in currency converted into electronic, you are using electronic payment system. The currency itself is digital and transactions take place between X and Y so easily through wallets. Then what is the problem? It will take place and payment systems also may have an impact. See, remember, whatever I'm saying, I'm not saying it will have impact. This is the time for each one of us to look what is the potential impact on payment systems, on banking as intermediaries, on central bank with respect to monetary policy, when central banks start issuing digital currency, which is not far away. It may be a matter of months or years or maybe decades. But like any new technology has encompassed us in terms of digitization, like bank accounts have been digitized, your securities have been digitized, your paper, books have been digitized. So currency also may be digitized in steps. In a country like ours, it may take longer because there is a nook and corner which we have to take it. And there is also a question of education and all those things, but it's not going to stop. WhatsApp did not stop because people are not educated. WhatsApp did not stop because there are rural areas. So this also may not stop, and it's only a question of time that they coexist. So there is some impact on payment system. There is some impact on banks. and there could be some impact on money market supply. So we are all working towards what is digitizing our currency, which we call as central bank digital currencies. Better we are aware of it. I'm not saying it's going to happen so quickly, although pilot runs may take place quite fast, but actually to CBDC to come to us. But people in the academic world cannot keep themselves away from reality. The reality is this, that digitization is a process, whether it is for cryptocurrency or whether it is for the non-fungible tokens or for the CBDCs. Academic world always has to keep touch with what is actually happening outside, and only then the research becomes meaningful. This is the last point I want to tell and leave all of you. I have been working in Reserve Bank for more than 3 decades. I have headed a Reserve Bank's Research Institute for more than 6 years. I have worked with banks very closely, with technology, with bank and finance. Unless there is a close coordination between industry and academia, neither of them is going to get the benefit. It's not possible. Academia doing paper writing for the sake of paper writing is not going to be very helpful unless those papers get translated into application. And industry, without taking the help of academia, either in the case of blockchain or in the case of cybersecurity, they will not get the benefit. The benefit comes majorly when we work together. I'm happy today that Kakatiya University, an academic institution, and Institute of Accounting and all of you are together with a common purpose to understand what is happening in this area of blockchain technology, so that all of you can go back, relook at what we are doing, and try to do something more useful in your respective fields, beneficial to the nation, or beneficial to the society, and beneficial to the entire world with the new technology that's emerging. This is my last point. With this, I'm closing and leaving it for my last slide, which says question and answers. Thank you very much. You can go to next slide and close it. Yeah.
It is amazing, sir.
Yeah.
It is amazing, your lecture. In fact, I have been hearing about the cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. People have shown me the diagrams and how it gets encrypted, etc. But the real picture I could understand now. Only one question I have, which I have already put it in the chat box. That is, it is a relative concept, as you have mentioned. Therefore, unless we convert them into their non-crypt currency, we cannot know the value of it. This is my perception. Kindly correct it if it is wrong.
No, you mean the value of the cryptocurrency?
Yes.
No, that is market driven. Like, if I perceive Bitcoin is going to be 40,000, I can buy it at 40,000.
Yeah.
I can sell it at 40,000. That is actually market driven today. Basically, because it is through an exchange, people get into it. See, decryption and encryption process takes place behind. I mean, most of us are not even aware. You only get a token, and the token says that you are owner of, say, 0.5 Bitcoins, which means about 30,000 today, and you are having $30,000.
$30,000 you are converting into either US dollars or in rupees. Somewhere you need to convert them into the non-cryptocurrencies. Then only its value will be known in the measurement.
Yeah, perfect. That's perfect.
Yes.
That's perfect. Yes, like, sometimes you feel I have a flat in Mumbai, it gives me 5 crores. Actually, if you go and sell only, you will know whether you will get 5 crores or not. The value comes only when I get 5 crores. Until that time, it is only an asset. So you are right. Only when I decrypt this, I convert into whatever amount. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see one question from straight right now. So I will take this first. Can we equate cryptocurrency with black money? I didn't get the full question. Let me see it. I don't know who asked also. Just 1 minute.
Sir, if you go to the chat box, perhaps.
I'm going to chat box because now I am on.
There are so many questions.
Okay. I don't know whether I'll be able to see all.
What are the important questions?
See, anyway, I got the point. That's why I want to just tell it. Can we equate to black money? No way. No way. See, black money is a question of accounting. Whoever has asked there, I just want to take black money is a question of accounting. As long as something is accounted, it is not black money. Suppose I buy one Bitcoin spending $60,000 of my own income and I account it in my books, then it is no more black money. So I cannot even store one Bitcoin wherever the exchange is or wherever it is going to be without, if it is told, if it is known to the concerned authorities, no more. But as on today, probably we don't have too much of information. Right now, in some countries, I think even our income tax department has started. If you see that AIS, bigger thing, how many Bitcoins do you hold? Once you say that you are holding it, like stop, it is no more black money. We cannot equate, but it may be a conduit for using it as black money. Is it okay for you? Whoever has asked. Okay, I'm not seeing all the things because time is also a factor. If some of you can track me with some nice questions or important questions, I will address them. Because for me, if I go back about 40 or 50 chats are there, all may not be questions. Let me also try.
Giri Prasad.
Many of them are saying thank you, that I don't need to answer. Only answer I say is thank you. I thank you more than you thank me.
There is one question, sir.
Ah.
That is, can we say cryptocurrency is just like gambling?
See, as I said, it is serving only the purpose of cross-border payments. It is not. If I am buying as an investment, see, I think it's very difficult. Most of you would know, very difficult to say where investment becomes a speculative gambling, speculation or gambling. So as long as I am investing in stock just for the sake of my wealth to go up, we cannot call it gambling. But the day I start looking at it, because it is low, I'll buy immediately, I'll sell, I'll make some money. And that's where the gambling comes. And in fact, I'm more interested in this topic. Right now, I'm working on behavioral finance in markets as my next book. So today, youth, I mean, I don't think I'm branding. I don't like to brand a generation as like that. But those who are in 20 to 30 or 25 to 35, they're more aggressive in nature. And probably they want to multiply their money faster than many of us who joined our organizations in the 80s and 90s. So if that is what is driving them, then we can put it as gambling only. But if they are understanding and trying to get some real investment, maybe it is not gambling. But today the game is gambling. The game of crypto is more of, if I want to use the word speculation, I would rather use that rather than gambling. Because gambling is a negative connotation. Speculation at least has not too much negative connotation, so I'll put it there. And I don't want to use the words like greed and all that. They're not greedy. They're hopeful. I mean, they're more hopeful than the generation behind them when they invest.
Does we need to, sir, one more question. Do we need to pay tax if cryptocurrency is converted in rupees?
As on date, nothing is there, but I think it is going to come, because that's the reason why income tax department is targeting how many cryptos they are owning and all that. If they find that this is a good avenue for, good avenue means good approach to tax, I think they will start taxing. Some countries are doing it.
One more question. Recently, central government changed its stance over cryptos. What seems to be main reason for government accepting cryptos now than earlier? Is it huge money people have put it into cryptos, or sooner or later RBI is also planning to bring its own CBDC? I think you have covered that point.
Actually, I will tell, because this is, I think people who have been following the news for the last few days, it's a very tricky thing. We have to understand a little more. As far as the RBI is concerned, its stand has been consistent. Cryptos not acceptable. In fact, they went to the extent of not so banning, but did not allow banks to participate in crypto. But Supreme Court has the one which turned the tables on them. That is RBI stand. They continue to stand by that. As far as the government is concerned, they are not banning it. They have formed a committee. The committee says, you please ban it. more or less the words of the committees, please ban it. But last few days, if you see, even finance minister and others, we don't know, they are telling good number of people are already there. This is not the right time to ban. I don't understand. In fact, I would put this the right time to look at control more than leave it. However, the Prime Minister expressed his concern, saying it may go into the hands of illegal trade. So I think government may take view of all these things, and they are in. I mean, I think this is a forum where I don't want to go beyond this. Okay. Because when you talk of government policies, it's difficult to say something, why they are doing, why they are not doing. But probably Prime Minister feels that it's a dangerous thing to allow it at this point.
Thank you, sir. It is a wonderful.
Oh, thank you very much.
I have learned many new things with your lecture.
In fact, I would say I have accepted this for two reasons. Normally, I think one, because you approach, you know me and we know each other. That is one reason. Second thing, anytime if it is educating people, I mean, educating, I won't use the word educating, maybe enhancing awareness, especially on a topic where a lot of haziness and gray areas are there. No, it is always better people get much clarity as to all these concepts.
We are highly thankful, sir, because at the present it is a burning topic that the central government is going to whether to implement or not to implement. It is a burning issue, and we are also discussing the same issue. Really, it is I think it is a fruitful webinar. I think Dr. Ram Shastri, we are highly thankful to you, sir. Provided in further. If it is offline, we'll be very much happy, sir. If you give permission to accept to come here to Warangal, we'll be planning, sir. And so that is fine, sir. If
I would be happy to come. I would be happy to come because then I can meet people. But then it has its own two limitations. One, today COVID times, you may not get people to sit. Again, I also may have opportunities because if I have got another engagement, sitting here it is easy. If it is, then it may be different. Anyway, it's good that we could start the interaction. But again, I tell you, if it is, I'll always be there.
I request our principal and head department of University College of Commerce and Business Management, Professor Varalakshmi Garu, to give remarks of this webinar.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Professor Varalakshmi. Saying few remarks on this session. Professor G. Soral sir and Professor Sanjay Bayani sir, Professor K.V. Achalapati sir have given motivational speech on the blockchain technology and economy with the latest issues. Thank you very much, sir. We inspired learn more things, sir. And great personality, keynote speaker Dr. A.S. Ramashastri sir have focused on blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, importance of currency, cross-border currency, land records of DLT, importance of bitcoins, so not, sir, so many things. Impact on monetary policy, speculation, legal transactions, and non-fungible tokens. Everything he has explained, sir. So we learned more things, sir, from you. And thank you very much for your valuable speech with the latest issues. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I request Dr. Amaraveli Madam to propose vote of thanks.
All the speakers has explored on blockchain technology. It is a decentralized distribution ledger which records the governance of a digital asset. Data is recorded in blocks. If one block is filled, we can record it in another block by linking these blocks with a hash, object, or cryptography technique or encryption, public key encryption and private key encryption. In this way, the information is recorded in each node throughout the world. So nobody can change or alter if the information on these nodes. If any person changes this information in his node, that particular node is removed from the chain. It is highly impossible to alter the information in blockchain technology. So that is the main advantage of using this blockchain technology. And this technology can be applied in various sectors like the banking sector, insurance sector, health sector, etc. For example, when we take the loan disbursement in any bank and fraud detection and cybersecurity, when a person applies for a loan, the system takes the information from many sources, such as his loan repayment history and what assets he possesses, and from the government sector also, it takes the information and they can take the decision within a minute, and the loan can be disbursed to that person very easily. This tracking of products in supply chain management, agriculture sector, and healthcare services and real estate also, this blockchain technology can be used. And I think the deliberations by various eminent personalities is very useful to all the researchers, faculty members, as well as the participants of this webinar. Now, I take it a privilege to propose vote of thanks. I thank Chief Guest of this webinar, Professor T. Ramesh Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Kakatiya University, Warangal, and distinguished guest, Professor G. Sorai Garu, President, IAA, former Dean and Professor, Department of Accountancy, Statistics, FL Sukhadiya, University, Jaipur. I thank you very much, sir. And I thank the guest of honor, Professor Sanjay Bayani Garu, General Secretary, IAA, Head Department of Business Management, Saurashtra University, Rajkot. I thank you very much, sir. And I thank the guest of honor, Professor K.V. Achalapati Garu, former President, IAA, Professor of Commerce and Usmania University, Hyderabad. I thank you very much, sir. And I thank the keynote speaker, Dr. A.S. Ramashastri Garu, former CGM, Reserve Bank of India, former Director, ID RBT. Sir has given an excellent talk on this blockchain technology, sir. Actually, we don't know about this blockchain technology. It's a new burning issue. Sir has covered various issues like blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, non-fungible tokens, and single bank currencies. And most of our audience and our participants, research scholars, faculty members, and all the members of Accounting Association, Warangal branch, and all the participants has gained much knowledge from your speech, sir. We are highly thankful to you, sir. And I thank Professor P. Garalakshmi Madam, Senior Vice President, IAA Warangal, Head and Principal of this University College of Commerce and Business Management. I thank Webinar President, Professor K. Rajareddy, sir, President, IAA Warangal, and Dean, Faculty of Commerce and Business Management of the University. And I thank the Webinar Director, Rajendra, Secretary, IAA Warangal, Associate Professor, University College of Commerce and Business Management. And I thank Dr. S. Narasimhachari, Vice President, IAA Warangal, and Assistant Professor, University College of Commerce and Business Management. I thank the organizing committee, Dr. G. Shashidhar sir, Dr. D. Vengalachari sir, Dr. K. Fanindra Kumar, and C. A. Chancharagalwar sir, and Dr. M. Giri Prasad, and C. A. KVN Sirish, member, IAA member, and Dr. D. Rajshekhar, member, IAA Warangal. And I thank all the participants, research scholars, faculty members, and for participating and actively listening, and all the members of Accounting Association Warangal branch. Thank you very much. Yes.
So, finally, we are really no words would suffice to express our thanks from our branch and our department, sir, because really great personality we have this morning. We gained a lot of knowledge from you, sir. Just you have given only 4 slides, but lots of information you have, and it seems that definitely we will have another seminar on in the future endeavors, sir. So please we request you either online or offline. Depends upon situations. Again, we will plan, sir, and definitely you please I request you to accept to give information for the younger generation. So thank you once again, and have a good day to you all. What about my heart that I'm very much thankful to Professor K. Achalapati Garu because he is very much instrumental in meeting such a great personality, Dr. Ramashastri Garu. Thank you, Warangal. Have a good day. Jai Hind. Thank you, sir.
Recording stopped.